Hey there. Raise your hand if you've never told a lie. No one? Yeah, I thought so. Even Pinocchio had a hard time keeping his nose in check. But why do we lie? Is it because we're all secretly evil masterminds? Or is there something more to it? Let's take a closer look at the curious world of lies and figure out why we can't seem to stop ourselves from bending the truth. Lying is like that one weird habit we all have, but don't like to admit. Like pretending to enjoy your aunt's mystery casserole or telling your boss you're almost done with that report. But here's the thing. Lying isn't always about being sneaky or mean. Sometimes it's just human. So let's break it down and figure out why we do it. Let's start with the most obvious reason. To avoid trouble. Imagine this. You're a kid, and you just broke your mom's favorite vase. What's the first thing you do? You blame the dog, the cat, or maybe even your imaginary friend Steve. Why? Because you don't want to face the music. Adults do this too. Ever told your boss you were stuck in traffic when you were actually binge watching your favorite show? Guilty as charged. We lie to dodge consequences, and honestly, it's kind of a survival instinct. Now here's a softer side of lying. Protecting someone's feelings. Let's say your best friend shows up with a new haircut that looks, well, let's just say it's unique. They ask, "Do you like it?" And you say, "Oh yeah, it's different," even though you're secretly wondering if they lost a bet. This is called a white lie, and it's all about keeping the peace and sparing someone's feelings. It's like emotional duct tape. It holds things together when the truth might hurt too much. Okay, let's talk about the lies we tell to impress people. You know, like when you're on a first date and you say you love hiking, even though the closest you've gotten to nature is your backyard. Or when you tell your friends you've read War and Peace, but really, you just Googled the summary. We all want to look good, and sometimes we stretch the truth to make ourselves seem cooler, smarter, or more interesting. It's like putting a filter on your life. Instagram for your personality. Now, this one's a bit trickier. Lying to gain something. This is where things can get shady. Imagine you're playing Monopoly, and you sneak an extra $500 from the bank when no one's looking. Why? Because you want to win. In real life, people might lie to get a promotion, a discount, or even a free dessert. It's not the nicest reason to lie. But hey, sometimes people get a little too creative with their hustle. Ever been in a situation where the truth would just make things super awkward? Like when your coworker asks if you want to see their vacation photos and you say, "Sure," even though you'd rather watch paint dry. Yeah, that's a lie to avoid awkwardness. We do it all the time, like pretending to remember someone's name or laughing at a joke that wasn't funny. It's like social glue. It keeps things running smoothly, even if it's not 100% honest. Here's a wild one. Sometimes people lie just because they can. It's like when you were a kid and you told your friends you had a pet dinosaur. There's no real reason. It's just fun to see how far you can stretch the truth. Adults do this too, especially online. Ever seen those before and after photos that look like two completely different people? Yeah, that's lying for the sake of lying. It's like a game, but with fewer rules and more Photoshop. Now, let's get a little sciencey for a second. Did you know that lying is actually a sign of intelligence? Yep, it takes some serious brain power to come up with a convincing lie. Kids usually start lying around age 2 or 3, and it's actually a developmental milestone. It means their brains are growing and they're figuring out how the world works. So, in a weird way, lying is kind of smart, but don't go using that as an excuse the next time you get caught. Of course, lying isn't all fun and games. There's a downside too. Ever heard the saying, "Oh, what a tangled web we weave when first we practice to deceive"? It's true. Lies have a way of snowballing. One little lie can lead to another, and before you know it, you're stuck in a web of your own making. Plus, if you get caught, it can damage trust, And trust is like a porcelain vase. Once it's broken, it's really hard to put back together. So why do people lie? It's complicated. Sometimes it's to avoid trouble. Sometimes it's to protect feelings. And sometimes it's just because we can. Lying is a part of being human, but it's important to remember that honesty is usually the best policy. After all, the truth has a funny way of coming out eventually. Just ask Pinocchio. Thanks for sticking with me. Now be honest. Did you enjoy this video? If you did, give it a thumbs up and share it with your friends. And if you didn't, well, you can always lie and say you did. See you next time.